What's up, everybody, and welcome to Read the Bible with me. I'm Stan Jr., and today we're looking at chapter 28 of the book of 2 Chronicles. Grateful that you're here. If you're new here, go ahead and click the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell because you want to stick around. We post a new video of one chapter a day every day at 7 a.m. And if you're a Bible Club member, go ahead and click like on this video and leave a comment below. I want to say thank you for supporting the ministry like you do. As you know, we send Bibles each month to persecuted Christians and missionaries out into the mission field by your donations. So we're grateful for that, and thank you again. Chapter 28, verse 1. Ahaz was 20 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And he did not do what was right in the eyes of the Lord, as his father David had done. But he walked in the ways of the kings of Israel. He even made metal images for the Baals. And he made offerings in the valley of the son of Hinnom, and burned his sons as an offering. He killed his own children to offer to a false God. How far off has he gone? According to the abominations of the nations whom the Lord drove out before the people of Israel. This is why when it comes to Abraham, when you see that time where Abraham was going to sacrifice his son, that really was never going to happen, because the Lord's character, in his character, you see the Lord's character that he hates child sacrifice. He hates it. He calls it abominations of the nations, whom the Lord drove out before the people of Israel. And he sacrificed and made offerings on the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. Therefore the Lord his God gave him into the land of king of Syria, who defeated him and took captive a great number of his people and brought them to Damascus. He was also given into the hand of the king of Israel, who struck him with great force. For Pekah, the son of Remaliah, killed 120,000 from Judah in one day, all the men of valor, because they have forsaken the Lord, the God of their fathers. And Zikri, a mighty man of Ephraim, killed Maaseiah, the king's son, and Azarikam, the commander of the palace, and Elkanah, the next in authority to the king. The men of Israel took captive 200,000 of their relatives, women, sons, and daughters. They also took much spoil from them and brought the spoil to Samaria. But a prophet of God, the prophet of the Lord, was there, whose name was Oded. And he went out to meet the army and came to Samaria and said to them, Behold, because the Lord, the God of your fathers, was angry with Judah, he gave them into your hand. But you have killed them in a rage that has reached up to heaven. And now you intend to subjugate the people of Judah and Jerusalem, male and female, as your slaves? Have you not sins of your own against the Lord your God? Now hear me, and send back the captives from the relatives whom you have taken, for the fierce wrath of the Lord is upon you. Certain chiefs also of the men of Ephraim, Azariah the son of Johanan, Berechiah the son of Meshillemoth, Jezekiah the son of Shallum, and Amasa the son of Hadalah, stood up against those who were coming from the war, and said to them, You shall not bring the captives in here, for you propose to bring upon us guilt against the Lord in addition to our present sins and guilt. They were like, No, don't bring them here, because they're going to make it even worse for us than it already is. For our guilt is already great. Sins and guilt is already great. And there is fierce wrath against Israel. So the armed men left the captives and the spoil before the princes and all this assembly. And the men who had been mentioned by name rose and took the captives. And with the spoil they clothed all who were naked among them. They clothed them, gave them sandals, and provided them with food and drink, and anointed them, and carried all the feeble among them on donkeys. They brought them to their king's folk. They brought them to the kinfolk. Brought them to their kinfolk at Jericho and city of the palm trees. Then they returned to Samaria. At that time, King Ahaz sent to the king of Assyria for help, for the Edomites had again invaded and defeated Judah and carried away captives. And the Philistines had made raids on the cities and Shephelah and the Negeb of Judah, and had taken Beth Shemesh, Ajehalon, and Gederoth, Soco with its villages, Timnah with its villages, and Gizmo with its villages, and they settled there. For the Lord humbled Judah because of Ahaz, king of Israel, for he had made Judah act sinfully, and he had been very unfaithful to the Lord. So Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, came against him and afflicted him instead of strengthening him. For Ahaz took a portion from the house of the Lord and the house of the king and of the princes and gave tribute to the king of Assyria, but it did not help him. In the time of his distress, he became yet more faithless to the Lord. This same King Ahaz, for the sacrifice to the gods of Damascus, that he defeated him and said, because the gods of the kings of Syria help them, I will sacrifice to them, and they may help me. But they were the ruin of him and all of Israel, because he decided to serve these false gods. And Ahaz gathered together the vessels of the house of God, and cut in pieces the vessels of the house of God, and shut up the doors of the house of the Lord. And he made himself altars in every corner of Jerusalem, and every city of Judah. He made high places to make offering to other gods, provoking to anger the Lord, and God of his fathers. Now the rest of his acts and all his ways, from first to last, behold, they are written in the book of the kings of Judah. And Israel buried him in the city in Jerusalem, where they did not bring him into the tombs of the kings of Israel. And Hezekiah his son reigned in his place. That was chapter 28 of the book of 2 Chronicles. I pray that was edifying to you. If you like that and you like the teaching on the ministry each single day, every single day at 7 a.m., please subscribe and support the ministry with a gift, a donation of $10 a month. It would help us do the ministry better and send more missionaries and Bibles to people that need them. Amen. That was chapter 28. Next time I read with you, we'll be reading chapter 29 of the book of 2 Chronicles. God bless you. Peace.